girl Armonee Michelle, and I'm back with yet another video. As you have read by the title, today's video is going to be yet another story time. I figured it was time to give y'all another one because I have not done a story time in about a month or two. You guys have been getting a lot of vlogs, a lot of day in the lives, a lot of Q&As out of me. So I wanna, you know, spread the wealth. I did a poll on my Instagram story a few weeks ago, and I asked you guys if you would rather hear about my first fist fight or my obsessed coworker. And obsessed coworker won, so let's get into it. So this story takes place about 4.5 years ago. I was a fresh 20-year-old with a new baby. Now I don't know, but I feel like everybody can relate when they say they've worked at Amazon a few times in their life. I've definitely worked at Amazon a few times in my life. They hire anybody. Amazon is known as a quick gig to get some money real fast if you need it, especially during their peak season. Okay, y'all, I had to fix my angle a little bit. So getting the job was pretty easy. Our orientation class was huge. There was about 50 to 60 people in there. The first day consisted of us just sitting and watching like safety videos on this big overhead screen. You know, boring shit. But I remember sitting in like the second or third row and trying my hardest not to fall asleep. And I just kept feeling like somebody's eyes were on me. Like, you ever just feel like somebody's staring at you? Like you can literally feel their eyes on you? Yeah, that's how I felt at that moment. Something just told me to turn around. I like slightly looked behind me and I seen this girl and she's literally just staring at me. Even when I caught her staring, she didn't look away. Me being me, I'm thinking it's a problem. I kind of was just like, what is she staring at? After the videos, I remember us having to go take turns to take our ID pictures, and then we were released to go ahead and go to lunch. I'm a different person at work than I am outside of work. I'm more of a loner at work. I'm really just there to, you know, get the job done and go ahead and go home. So on orientation day, I was just very quiet, very to myself. I went and got my ID picture taken, and then I walked down to the lunchroom by myself. So I get to the lunchroom. I didn't pack my lunch that day because it was the first day and I didn't really know how things were gonna work. So I ended up just getting some stuff out of the vending machines that they had in the break room and sitting down at one of the empty tables and putting my earphones in. You know how it is on lunch breaks, especially when you just got there and you don't really know anybody. I see the girl who was staring at me approaching the table that I'm sitting at. Mind you, it's an Amazon warehouse, so imagine how big the break room is. She literally walked past 10 empty tables just to come up to the table that I was sitting at. Mind you, I have my headphones in, so I peep her coming, but I go back to what I'm doing. Maybe she's going somewhere behind me, whatever. I look down at my phone, and then when I look back up, she's standing right in front of me and she's talking to me. So I take my earphones out and she's like, is someone sitting here? She points to the seat that's right across from me at the lunch table. And I'm like, no, nobody's sitting there. But I'm kind of like, why do you want to sit here? Like, there's so many other places to sit. And she ended up just sitting down and she was like, I hope you don't think I'm weird or nothing, but I just think that you are very pretty. That kind of made me feel bad because when she was staring at me, I got an attitude. I just looked at her like, what? Like, I kind of scrunched my face up. And it's because I'm so used to having to be defensive to other girls and other women because I'm so used to them being catty and petty to me without even getting to know me. So when she was staring at me, I didn't think it was for a good reason. So when she said that, it kind of made me feel bad. I was like, well, thank you. You know, that's really sweet of you. I was like, I did wonder why you were staring at me, but you know, it's cool. Thank you for the compliment. So then she's just like, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 20. She's like, wow, I'm 22. Like, she's 20 as well. Not literally like 22, but like 20 as well. Yeah, y'all following along, right? Anyways, so she's just telling me her whole life story. She was half Dominican, half black, and She was telling me how she doesn't get along with her dad, but she's really close with her mom and she has sisters. And like, she was just going to the whole spiel. Like, you would have thought we knew each other forever the way she was just telling me all her business. I feel like I'm a comforting spirit. Like, when people could get around me, no matter how long they knew me, they feel like they could just tell me stuff. So I didn't really think anything of it. I'm just like, maybe I just make her feel comfortable. As she's talking, she stops mid-sentence and she's like, did that hurt? I'm like, what, my nose ring? She's like, yeah. Mind you guys, I've had my nose pierced since I was about 18 years old. I actually snuck and got it pierced while I was in college. I'm like, no, it didn't really hurt. It's really like a quick pain. Have you ever thought about getting your nose pierced? And she was like, no, not really. And I'm like, oh, okay. By the time I knew it, the bell was ringing for us to go back to orientation. I think our lunch was about 45 minutes, maybe an hour. I don't remember how long Amazon lunches are. If y'all work at Amazon, remind me in the comments. The girl had ended up talking to me so much that time literally just flew, but I didn't have any complaints at the moment. We're walking back to orientation, and mind y'all, she was sitting a few rows behind me when orientation first started. But when we went back, she ended up sitting right next to me up front in the row that I was originally sitting in. So fast forward, we get through orientation for the week, and it just becomes a new thing where she's gradually sitting with me at lunch, working near me when we're out on the floor, things of that nature. Now, one of the first weird things that happened with this girl was one day we were sitting at lunch. I got up to get my food out the microwave because I had brought my lunch that day. As I come back, I noticed that she's on the phone. She kind of like lifts her phone like this. Mind you, I'm sitting right across from her and she's just like, yeah, isn't she so pretty? This is the girl that I'm always telling you about. And I'm just sitting there slowly mixing my food. Like, it was just the way that it was done. Like, we had already had that conversation for her to let me know that she thinks that I'm pretty. But it's like, here we are a few weeks later. Now you're on the phone with somebody with the camera zoomed in on my face. And she gets off the phone and I'm like, who is that? And she's like, oh, that's my boyfriend. She's like, yeah. I go home and tell him about you all the time, and I tell him how funny you are and how beautiful you are, and he was just curious to see what you look like. And I'm like, that's not weird at all. So I let the conversation roll off of my shoulders because I really didn't know what she was getting at. But next, I had a crush on this little fine ting that was working in the warehouse with us. And I remember walking past him one day and I told the girl, we need to give her a name. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't went this far into the story without even naming this girl. We're gonna call her Kimbella. I don't really got a reason why, but we just gonna call her Kimbella so that I can stop calling her that girl and the story doesn't get confusing as I get deeper into it. So back to what I was saying, I'm telling Kimbella, like, he is fine, like, boy, do this warehouse know how to hire some fine ass men, I tell you. And she's like, yes, he is cute. I wonder how old he is. We're gonna give him a name too. We're gonna call him, we just gonna call him Ray. I'm just telling her, like, yeah, Ray is so fine. Like, that's a fine piece of work, like, you know. So we're laughing or whatever, and we go back to working. So my job description at Amazon was a picker, meaning I would go up and down the big aisles with a little cart and kind of like shop for the member. Anyways, with that being said, the items were picked at random, meaning you could be walking anywhere in the warehouse to find whatever item pops up on your gun. Kimbella and I had the same job description, but during our 10-hour shifts, she spent a lot of her time following me instead of actually picking. It would really be me actually picking using my scan gun and her walking around acting like she's picking when in actuality she's just following me around the warehouse to talk. I really didn't mind it because, you know, I'm getting my work done. So if any of the managers did come over there, they really wouldn't say nothing to me because that I'm actually being productive. But they used to come a lot of the time and tell her like, get to work, where are you supposed to be? Your scan good says you're supposed to be in this aisle, so why are you in this aisle? So I remember her complaining and being like, I don't like this job, I think I'm gonna quit. They micromanage too much. And I'm just like, you know, listening, like, you know, I'm making some pretty good money here. Like I was getting paid weekly. Like Amazon wasn't gonna be my lifelong career, but I had just started working there a few weeks prior and I didn't really have a reason to quit. I had a goal to save up to get a good Christmas for my son and to buy me a brand new car. So I didn't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. And I remember her saying, we should quit. We should go to this other warehouse. And I'm just thinking like, why do I have to quit with you? Like, why can't you just? In the midst of her talking, I noticed a nose ring. And I know it wasn't there the first day that we met, because remember she asked me if getting your nose pierced hurts. Then I asked her like, are you interested in getting yours pierced? And she said no. So when I seen it, I kind of stopped mid-sentence. I forgot we were even talking about her quitting. And I'm like, when'd you get that? And she's like, oh, I've been had this. And I was like, you had it when we met? Because I could have sworn we talked about this and you told me, you know, like you weren't interested in. And she was like, girl, yes, I've been had it pierced. I just never wear my nose ring. I just start wearing my nose ring again.
Okay.
Which, if you think about it, that don't make sense, because if you've been having your nose pierced, you would have never asked me if it hurted. You would know how it felt to get your nose pierced. But okay, I won't say that Amazon was micromanaging. I would just say they were just telling her to do her job. It came to a point in time where they kind of split us up. They would make her work on a different level floor than me because they noticed that she would follow me around a lot. So one day I'm walking down the aisle scanning stuff and I see a girl who is just standing there, but she kind of looks confused. She kind of had that look on her face like this was her first day and she really didn't know what she was doing. And she seen me looking at her and she's like, hey, I'm sorry to bother you, but can you tell me where this aisle is and where I can find this item? I feel like the job was kind of easy and it was really repetitive the more you do it. So I kind of felt like I could do it in my sleep. So at that point, I'm thinking I'm an expert. And I'm like, yes, girl, let me show you where it is. We're walking up and down the aisle looking for the item that's on her scanner and we're talking and the conversation just started flowing. It kind of felt like we've been knowing each other. I told her if she needed anything else to, you know, flag me down and I would help her because I know what it feels like to be confused on your first day. So fast forward into the lunch break, I see the girl that I helped. We'll call her Olivia. I seen her in the lunchroom and she was like, I'm gonna just sit with you because I don't really know nobody else. And I'm like, yeah, girl, that's fine. You can sit with me. We're sitting there eating our lunch and in comes Camilla. She looks over at me and like turns her face up and then like walks out of the lunchroom.
Okay.
Didn't think anything of it. So I continue eating my lunch. Me and the girl is laughing, we talking. Conversation don't feel forced. It's really just cool. It's just flowing. Mind y'all, me and Kimbella had exchanged numbers. In the midst of us talking, I get a text message. And it's from Kimbella. And she's like, I hope you enjoying lunch with your new best friend, LOL.
Child. Anyway, so
with me being confused, I sent her some question marks. She just never replied. So after lunch, I don't see Kimbella at all during lunch, nor did I see her for the rest of my shift that day, which was unusual because like I said, she would always find a way to come and find me and walk with me through the aisle. Went home. Mind y'all, I worked the late shift, so I used to get off at like 2, 3 a.m. and I received a phone call from her. I answered thinking maybe she was stuck somewhere or she needed help. Like, what other reason could she be calling me at this time of the night? I'm like, hello, and she's like, so you really don't care about our friendship?
Huh?
Come again? What the f are you talking about? I texted you earlier while you were at lunch with that girl and you never texted me back. I was like, I definitely texted you back. I sent you question marks because I was confused. So then she's like, oh, you did text me back. I didn't even realize. Well, I really want to know why you didn't accept my friend request on Facebook. You called me at 2 something in the morning to ask me why I didn't accept your friend request on Facebook? Yeah. this bitch is bonkers. I remember getting smart with her and I'm like, girl, I just got off a 10-hour shift. Don't call me about no friend request or about who I'm eating lunch with. Like, that's weird. She was like, oh, girl, I'm just playing. Girl, you think I would really get mad about that? Girl, I'm just playing with you. I cut the conversation short, got off the phone with her, showered, went to bed, did what I had to do. So mind y'all, at this time, it's cold outside. If you live in Indiana especially, you know how cold it gets out here. Our cold is like freezing cold, like ice cold. I can't remember if it was snowing or not, but I just remember the weather was changing drastically. Both me and my baby was starting to get a little cold. Throat start being sore, nose start getting stuffy, and I just wasn't feeling work the next day. So I remember calling in and just not going into work that day. I was off for a few days after that. I remember coming back, feeling refreshed, feeling way better than I did prior to me catching my little cold. So when I came back to work, I remember coming in and going to the lockers and putting my stuff up. I feel somebody hug me from behind, like around my arms like this. So I turned around and it's Kimbella. And she's like, girl, I thought you quit. I'm so happy to see you. I was gonna call you, but I thought that was doing too much. And I'm just so happy you're here. And I'm so happy that you didn't quit. Cause girl, if you would've quit, I would've quit. And then I would've came and found you. You ain't getting away from me that easily. And then she's like, I'm just kidding. Yeah, sure you are. So I'm like, girl, no, I just wasn't feeling good. So fast forward to being back out on the floor, I see Ray. Now me and Ray were really on speaking terms. I would kind of just catch him staring at me, but I don't make the first move on men. Like, I could sneak and tell my homegirls that a nigga is cute, but you're not gonna catch me like drooling over him or being thirsty or doing too much. I feel like if a man wants me, he's gonna make the first move, period. As I'm walking up and down the aisle, scanning stuff per usual, here comes Ray. He's like, can you help me find this item? And I just thought that was a little weird because, boy, you've been working here longer than me. Why do you need my help to find something? He really wants the kids, so let me play along. I'm like, yeah, let me show you where that is. So we're walking and he's like, how old are you? And I'm telling him, and he asked if I was single. So you already know what that means. He ends up telling me that he's had his eye on me since I first started. He wanted to say something to me, but he said I looked mean, so he wasn't sure about approaching me. But listen to this. So he then goes on to say that a few days ago, one of the days that I was off work, he went up to Kimbella because he seen she was always with me. He said he was just like, is your homegirl here today? Because he said he planned on like trying to talk to me. And she was like, who? And he was like, the one you always with the light eyes. And she was like, oh, that's not my homegirl, that's my blood sister. And I stopped him, I'm like, she was talking about me? He was like, yes. And then he goes on to say that she was like, oh, my sister, no, she's not here. She's at home with her son, my nephew, because our mom wasn't able to watch him while she came into work, so she had to call off. Literally making shit up. So I'm really like appalled. I'm just staring at him like, what? He was just like, yeah, she said that y'all mom couldn't keep your son, so you had to call in. And he was like, so I went on and was just like, oh, okay, well, is she single? And he said that she looked at him and was like, no, she's not. And if she was, she wouldn't be into you because you're not her type. Mind y'all, I had just told this girl a week ago how fine I thought he was. We always talk about how cute and how good looking he is, and like, why are you cock blocking? And why are you lying saying that I'm your blood sister? And I was like, I'm just confused because that's not my sister. And that's not why I wasn't here at work. And then I was like, she doesn't even know me well enough to know what my type would be or if I wouldn't talk to you. So, and he was like, wait, so you don't know her? And I was like, don't get me wrong. We met in orientation. I know her in Amazon, but I don't personally know her outside of work. She don't know my business, and we're not blood sisters. We're not sisters at all. And he was like, wait, this some Lifetime movie shit. And I'm like, who are you telling? Like, I have never had no experience, especially with a female like this. And he was like, not to be funny, but you might want to get a restraining order, because the way that she looked me in my face and was so serious about everything she was saying, I actually believed that y'all was sisters and that you was at home because you didn't have a babysitter and that your son was her nephew and yada yada yada. Y'all might think that I overreacted, but that pissed me off, and I found it very, very weird and strange that she told him that I was her blood sister. So in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna say something to her like, this is weird. I don't like this shit at all. He told me he's gonna catch up with me at lunch so that we could talk, because, you know, managers is walking around. He didn't want to get in trouble for being in my aisle. And then I ended up bumping into Olivia, and she was like, where's your sister? That one girl. She was like, I don't know her name, but she told me that y'all were sisters. I was like, you too? She's like, well, what do you mean me too? I'm like, me and her are not sisters, and you are the second person that has told me that she's telling people that I'm her sister. She was like, yeah, she told me that you guys have an apartment together, that you're super, super close, that y'all have the same mom, same dad. And like, she just goes into this whole story, and I'm just sitting there like, what the? She's like, are y'all not sisters? I'm like, no, we are not. I'm like, this is deja vu. Like, I literally just had this conversation 10 minutes ago about the same thing. I ended up taking a bathroom break, and guess who I bumped into? Miss Kimbella herself. She's like, oh, hey, sis.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Mind y'all, this is the first time I've ever heard her use that word with me, but how ironic is it the same day that all these people are telling me that she's running around the warehouse telling everybody that we're blood related. So I'm like, yeah, speaking of sis, why are you telling people that we're blood sisters? Why are you bringing up my son in any manner? We're calling him your nephew. And why did you tell Ray that he's not my type and I would never talk to him? And her face kind of just like she was stuck, like she wasn't expecting me to come at her with all that. I already believed what they told me when they told me, but her reaction just even more sealed it in for me that I knew she was around being weird and saying that shit. And she was like, I don't mean to come off away, but I just think we look alike and you're so pretty. You could really pass for being Dominican.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And I'm like, nothing that you're saying right now validates any of this. It doesn't validate it at all. And I ended up just walking out of the bathroom. Like, I forgot I had to pee and everything. I ended up just leaving the bathroom because I just felt weird around her. What's crazy is after I confronted her, she ended up leaving work early. And it was like not even halfway through the shift. We hadn't even had lunch yet. I didn't question it because I really didn't even plan on talking to her anymore after that. I just felt like it was weird. I was kind of glad that I didn't accept any of her requests on social media just yet. It really wasn't for any specific reason. I just had never got around to it. But now that all this stuff was coming out, I'm like, I'm just glad that I just never let you in personally. I've never let you over my house or any of that, because this was very much giving Lifetime movie. Like, I was very concerned for my well-being around this lady. So a few weeks go by and I actually don't see her anymore. I don't see her at lunch. I don't see her out on the floor doing work. Like, I just don't see her. By this time I had already blocked her number and everything. I just didn't plan on ever fucking with her again. Like, I was very weirded out, y'all. Y'all don't understand how weirded out I was. And it might sound like I'm being dramatic, but that was just weird to me. Like, it's like she wasn't satisfied with us just being friends. You couldn't just tell people we were cool. You had to lie and make up all these extravagant stories about how we're blood related, how we got the same parents, how we live together, how my son is your nephew. They even went as far as telling my little work team that he's not my type and I would never mess with him. It's like she wanted me to herself. Even with her getting mad that I was eating lunch with the other girl and storming out, like, there was a lot of red flags there. Like, she was very, very weird. And who knows what she went home and told her boyfriend. Remember when she was saying now she goes home and tells her boyfriend all about me and had the camera facing me during lunch? Like, that lady was a nut job. I never seen her again at work after that. I assumed that she just quit. People around the warehouse were saying that she was telling people that she was moving back to the Dominican Republic with her mom. I didn't care. Best of luck to her. So fast forward to maybe a year after this, I was no longer working at Amazon. So I'm on Facebook one day and I noticed that I had some message requests sitting in my request box from people that either are in my friend request or that I'm just not friends with on Facebook, I have it set up to where they cannot automatically message me. They'll have to go through a request to where I'll actually have to accept the message to actually allow them to send me messages back and forth. For some reason, I just clicked on my message request box and I see a message from Kim Bella, and it says something along the lines of, hey, you've been on my mind a lot lately and I've been wanting to reach out to you. I don't want you to feel a way about me. I really miss being your best friend. So whenever you want to catch up and do lunch, it'll be on me. If not, I totally understand. I'll always care about you.
Stop it. Get some help.
Did y'all hear the part where I said this bitch said I was her best friend? You're probably wondering what I did after that. I didn't acknowledge the message. She wasn't gonna get a reply anyways. I was weirded out by her. I instantly blocked her and made a pact with myself that if I come across any more of her pages on any other social media platforms, she was getting blocked. There really isn't anything more to that story outside of that. I haven't had any more encounters with her, thank God. She was bizarre and I really felt like she had an obsession with me. You just don't run into that on a daily. But yes, you guys, that was the time that my coworker was obsessed with me. If you have made it this far, you have now reached the end of my video. And by the way, we are now at 100 subscribers, so thank you guys so much for being patient with me, sending me kind words, and just being very supportive of the videos that I put out. These videos take time to edit, they take time to sit down and make and create, so it really feels good for me to release these things and for you guys to actually sit and enjoy them and to anticipate a new upload. And I just want y'all to know that this means the world to me. Also, if there's any videos that you guys are wanting me to do that I might not have done before, I am open to new ideas. Leave them down in the comments below. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to turn them post notifications on so that you can be notified the next time that I upload. And that is all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.